It is now time for the 2023 season debut of Cowboys color analyst. He'll be on with us every single Thursday at this time. Babe Laufenberg, brought to you by Johnson Fitness and Wellness, here with Shan RJ and Bobby, 105.3 The Fan. Good morning and welcome back.
Well, thank you, and very excited about a new year, and was thinking back, and I thought the last time I saw you and RJ in person, we were at Nick and Sam's for Samir's book signing.
That's right.
I think that was it.
I mean, that was a nice night, wasn't it?
I mean, you gave us the great intro to Troy Aikman and then reintroduced us. I didn't like what you did with Garrett, though, as you were.
What did I do?
You were saying, these are the guys that killed you for 10 years. These are the guys. We're trying to enjoy a salmon sushi cone and some red wine, and I thought you were going to get Jason all mad at us right there.
Oh, that's funny. No.
Yeah. No, but we missed you out in Oxnard. But great to have you back with us for another year. Babe, do you think that Daniel Jones has, taken the step, or are you still in wait-and-see mode?
I think you're always in wait-and-see mode. We're still in wait-and-see mode on Dak, aren't we?
Mm.
We're
Are you on first take?
You're waiting for him to take the next step, though, right? Are we not?
I am. Bobby
Okay.
may come through the radio and try to choke you.
No, we were in wait-and-see mode on Matthew Stafford until he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the nature of the beast. That's the nature of playing that position. Are we in wait-and-see mode on Lamar Jackson?
Yes.
A little bit. I mean, so all these guys get to a level where then everybody wants to see him jump to that next level, right? I mean, Mahomes is there. There's Rodgers is there, has been there. But I think Daniel Jones is a good player. They have been so bad offensively. I mean, so bad around him. They had no receivers. They still, to me, are receiver deficient. Obviously, they picked up Darren Waller, on a trade, tight end, great player, blah, blah, blah. But, he played really 2 years without Saquon. And I think a big part of what they did last year was that Saquon Barkley was healthy. And, you weren't putting the game on Daniel Jones's back. You had some help. And quite honestly, I think it was similar to Dak's rookie season in the sense that, and you can debate all you want about taking Zeke at number 4, and that's fine. I understand all that. But if Dak doesn't have Zeke, Dak doesn't have that rookie year. So I think really Saquon being healthy finally for a full year really helped out Daniel Jones last year. And then just the fact, hey, it was in his 4th year. You get better each year. As you guys well know, his turnovers have gone down each year to the point where last year he threw the fewest interceptions by percentage of passes of any quarterback in the NFL. So he definitely has turned a corner in that regard.
How good do you think the Giants are overall?
It's a very good question. Everybody's kind of jumping on that train, and Daboll was obviously NFL Coach of the Year last year. But unlike Detroit, who we're going to see tonight, right, with Kansas City, and very excited about that, by the way. Detroit started out 1-6 last year, and they finished 8-2. They beat the Packers in a game that meant everything to the Packers at the end of the season because it was going to put them in the playoffs. They beat them, kept Green Bay out of the playoffs. So they came down the stretch 8-2 and were playing really good football. The Giants started out 7-2, but down the stretch they went 2-5-1. The tie coming to Washington. So, and they were actually outscored last year. Their point differential, they were in the minus. I think they were the only team in I don't know how long to have a minus point differential and end up in the playoffs. So I always look at point differential. I think that's a pretty telling sign for teams. So I'm not sold on the Giants yet. Are they improved? Absolutely. Are they going to be a contender? I don't see that happening. And again, I think their offense is just pretty average. So that's my take on the Giants.
So you clearly see it as there's 2 clear tiers in this division.
Yeah.
Cowboys and Eagles, and then the other 2.
Yeah, now I will say the floor has risen. Washington played great defense last year. I'm not sure people realize how good they were on defense. They were right at the top of things, but their offense obviously was terrible. Now, I am a Sam Howell fan, but you're looking at a first-year starter, second-year player. He's going to have his bumps and his learning curve to get that team going. And that's another team, to me, they're kind of offensively challenged. To me, Terry McLaurin is a good receiver, but he's a number 2 receiver on a good team. He is their number 1 receiver. But in my mind, he's really a 2.
We're talking with Babe Laufenberg here on Shan and RJ on 105 through the Fan. Babe, how much does your outlook for this game change if Tyler Smith can't go, or if Tyler Smith is severely limited, especially knowing how stout the Giants are on the interior with Leonard Williams and Dexter Lawrence?
Yeah, they are stout on the interior, aren't they? And that seems to run throughout the NFC East. Washington is no picnic with their tackles, and Philadelphia's got some beasts inside. But, yeah, if he can't go, I'm assuming it'll be Adoga that will go at left guard. And, you want all your starters, obviously. How much it'll factor in, I'm sure some. You certainly want your better players there, and he's a really good player, as we know. And I'm not sure. Adoga, to me, did not look great in the preseason. So it remains to be seen, how he goes in and fills in there. And the Giants are an interesting team in the sense that Wink Martindale is their defensive coordinator, big blitz guy. They blitz more than any team in the NFL. They're going to come after you. But then we had 6 interceptions last year. Usually those blitz teams give up big plays and make big plays. And they had the fewest interceptions in the NFL last year, 6. Matter of fact, Giants have been playing football a long, long time, as we know. It was the fewest interceptions for them as a franchise ever. Now, unfortunately, 2 of those 6 came against Dak in one game.
Mm-hmm.
So you go to the other 16 games, they had 4 interceptions.
Babe, let's talk Tony Pollard as the lead back. Are you give me a number of touches per game you would like to see, that you think he can handle, all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm gonna go in that 15 to 17 range. It's funny because people will talk about, he can't carry it 25 times a game. Well, no one carries it 25 times a game.
Right.
Matter of fact, if he gets 15 carries a game, we'll leave the receptions out of it, and let's go on the assumption he plays all 17, which he won't. No back does anymore. He's going to be banged up in there a couple of games. We know that. You just hope you don't lose him for an extended period of time. But that's true, again, of any running back. That includes Derrick Henry. But if he rushes it 15 times a game, that's 255 over the course of the season. And last year, only 8 running backs had 250 carries or more. And so, again, the notion we got to give it to him 25 times is kind of silly. But I see that 15 to 18 touches a game, more to the 18 side, as being a little bit of a benchmark. Last year, he was just under 15 touches a game. But also the notion, everybody kind of thinks he's about a 198-pound running back. I mean, he weighs 217. I asked him yesterday, what do you weigh? So he's a little bigger than people think.
Can Deuce Vaughn be the number 2?
No, in my mind, I see Rico Dowdle as being that kind of number 2 guy. But certainly they're going to have a little package for Deuce Vaughn. But to just put Deuce Vaughn back there and have him be your, I'm going to say lead back, but obviously you just play one running back, to put him in there to spell Tony Pollard, I really don't see that happening. But we'll see. But again, they're going to have a little package for Deuce of things he can do.
Babe Laufenberg here on 105.3 The Fan. Bobby, go ahead.
Yeah, Babe, Kayvon Thibodeau, he seems to have a skill set that is troublesome for Tyron Smith. One, where you can hit speed on the outside, jump back inside. Those have been difficult rushers for Tyron recently. We already talked about you might be without Tyler Smith on that left side. Do you think the Cowboys could look at maybe they have some max protect stuff, or like you just mentioned, Rico Dowdle there, who might be their best pass protector in the backfield? Keep giving him more reps to keep him in there and help protect that left side a little bit.
Well, Mike McCarthy has, as we've heard from day one, his whole thing is pass protection now. The backs are going to be more involved before they go out into their patterns, not on every play, but they're going to be responsible for chipping and looking even inside. Usually you chip the end, right? The defensive end's coming upfield, the back goes out, throws the inside shoulder into him on his way out. And this year, even on routes coming inside, they're going to be looking for interior rushers. So that'll be the one little change that you'll see on pass protection. And so you'll see Dowdle and Tony Pollard in that regard. But to your point, Bobby, Thibodeau just ate him up in that they could not block him in the second game, the game here at AT&T. They could not block him. And obviously he was, fifth pick in the draft? Am I right there?
Yeah, fifth.
Number 5, yeah. And so, you should be good, but, man, he's going to be a lot to deal with on a regular basis. And then, obviously, you throw in Shan Robinson and Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams in that front. They come at you with a little bit inside.
So, Babe, for us fans watching, what do you think we'll be able to notice in comparing McCarthy calling the plays to Kellen? The number one question of the offseason.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to, not you, me, I don't think we're going to notice a whole lot of difference. I don't think we're going to sit there and say, oh, boy, yeah, that's a different play caller right there. I just don't see that happening. Again, we'll see what happens Sunday night, but it's not going to be a huge change in terms of the play calling itself, in my opinion. We're not going to notice. Let me just say that. We're not going to notice. Two things of interest to no one but me. Again, their guards are short and centers are short setting a little bit more. They're not on pass protection. They're kind of engaging at the line of scrimmage as opposed to kind of dropping back a little bit. And the other is the backs in protection before they go out. Not on every route, but you're going to see a lot more backs in pass protection before they get into their pass pattern.
Surprise player that you've either been noticing or hearing about that you think could have a very nice impact on the season?
Well, I wouldn't call him a surprise player, but the guy that I have really been impressed with is Brandin Cooks.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at him, and I've watched games, obviously, of him playing, but I never really looked at him, studied him, paid too much attention. But seeing him in person, even in the OTAs and the mini camps and then at camp, one of the things he's going to turn 30 here. He may have just turned 30, but in September. And you always look, okay, can they still run? And this guy can still run. And I mean, he's a great route runner. And when you look at how that number 2, I'm going to put him in the number 2 receiver spot, but could easily be a 1, but how they've improved that number 2 from where they were last year. I mean, it's a remarkable difference. I mean, it's exponentially different. To me, he is the guy that really is going to change this offense as much as anything. And then everything you hear about him, great locker room guy, all that. And you know what's funny, guys? I always saw this guy getting traded, right? And I'm like, well, what's wrong with him? What is happening here?
Right.
Why do teams keep trading him? Now, in fairness, they traded him a couple times for first-round picks. So it wasn't like they had him on the scrap heap. And then you watch him in person, and I still wonder, why do these teams keep trading this guy? I thought we'd see something where you say, oh, okay, I see what they didn't like. But there's nothing not to like about him.
It's great to have you back, and we want you to have a good trip, and we will be listening on Sunday night. Looking forward to it again every single week, Babe. Thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.